Lonely Receptionist's amazing transformation. One unexpected date with the CEO changes everything forever. Ava always felt like she was trapped in a whirlpool. Her feet bolted to an unyielding treadmill of endless duties and silent yearnings. At 28, her life glided through routine like the fast-paced highways outside her office window, overlooking the shimmering skyline of Chicago. Each day, she greeted bustling professionals with a smile, managing calls and sorting mail, all while dreams of being an artist danced just out of reach. Memories of sketching beside her mother on warm summer afternoons clung to her heart, bound tightly by guilt and the weight of her mother's illness. As sunlight spilled into the high-rises lobby, it illuminated the stark contrast between wealth and struggle that Ava witnessed every day. Suits passing by, absorbed in their own lives, seemed so far removed from the burdens she bore. Her loneliness chewed at her insides like a persistent hunger, gnawing deeper every hour she spent at her desk. This can't be it, she often thought, her fingers tracing the shapes of invisible stars in her mind while the hum of city life played in the background, the rhythm of hearts striving against odds. That evening, as twilight draped itself over the skyscrapers, the office thinned out, shadows creeping across her workspace like secrets escaping a locked drawer. Suddenly bump. A tall figure stumbled into her space instead of heading to his meeting. Jack, a high-powered CEO, looked almost sheepish as he glanced around, the worry lines on his forehead softening as he focused on her. The brief exchange about misplaced documents wasn't just about business. It flickered with an unexpected spark. Their dinner date unfolded like an enchanting story, transforming from superficial conversation to raw emotion. Ava bared her soul, talking about her struggles to vibrant artistry and the unrelenting pressure of caring for her mother. Sometimes, she said, voice trembling, I wonder if I'm just a shadow in this towering world. I want to create, I want my colors back. The vulnerability in her words breached the walls that surrounded Jack's gilded life. He felt compelled, recognizing the brilliance in her desire, yet he wrestled with the privilege he had always known while grappling with questions of identity and acceptance. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet, as laughter bubbled from their shared moments, the specter of Jack's high-profile colleagues loomed large in the background, tossing doubts like confetti. Why him? Why her? Whispered the approvers of privilege, mocking their connection. Each taunting question snagged Jack's thoughts, unraveling him from the sincerity of the evening. Ava stood at the edge of self-doubt, grappling with the fear that love might not bridge the divides of class and expectation. Can true transformation emerge from accepting each other's origins? Jack's heart raced. He wanted to reach out but hesitated at the cliff of societal judgment. Ava's spark dimmed, a flicker of connection waning. But in that muted space, the air crackling with tension, could she trust that love might pierce through? The answers awaited, heavy in the air, their stories interwoven, leaving readers on the brink of discovery, hearts aching for resolution. Ava woke up the next morning with a knot in her stomach. The sunlight spilling through her window felt warm, but it couldn't chase away the chill that lingered from her dinner with Jack. She replayed every second in her head, from their easy laughter to the awkward silence that followed her admission. Did she scare him off? Had she revealed too much too soon? Shaking herself free from spiraling thoughts, she lingered over her morning coffee, letting the rich aroma fill her senses. The day ahead loomed with uncertainty. Would she bump into Jack again in the office? Or had their connection been merely a fleeting moment, destined to dissolve into the humdrum of her daily grind? As she stepped into the high-rise lobby, Ava caught sight of Jack, deep in conversation with another executive. He looked commanding, confidence etched in the lines of his tailored suit. But today he seemed detached, the animated smile she remembered absent from his lips. She added a slight bounce to her step, hoping to draw his attention. But he never noticed her. Her heart sank as she made her way to her desk. The everyday routine surrounded her like a sea of gray. The ringing phones, the tapping keyboards, all of it was just noise. But unlike before, today felt different. With Jack now occupying space in her thoughts, she wasn't fully there. A few hours later, just as hope began to wane, Jack appeared at her desk. His cheeks flushed, he seemed almost nervous. "Hey, Ava, can we talk?" A mixture of excitement and anxiety swirled in her gut. She nodded, her heart racing. He led her into a small conference room, quiet and intimate compared to the bustling office outside. Ava felt the weight of unspoken words hanging between them. "You were so open last night," he began, pacing slowly as he searched for the right phrase. "I've been thinking about everything you said about colors. Your artistry is inspiring, and I guess I'm struggling to reconcile that part of you with the world I come from. I don't want to lose what we found last night." But, Ava pressed, the tension in her chest tightening. "I don't know how to bring this into my reality. My world has expectations, and I've always followed them," he admitted, frustration flickering across his features. "I don't want you to feel like you don't belong in it. But I want to understand, how do I help you reclaim your colors?" Ava felt her cheeks flush. What did he truly want from her? Their lives felt like parallel universes, destined to never meet. She breathed deeply, unsure of how to respond, caught between gratitude for his support and the fear that this glimmer of hope might dissipate. "Jack, it's a journey I need to take myself. But maybe we could find a way to inspire one another?" He paused, uncertainty clouding his eyes. "What if I want to go on that journey with you? What if, Ava?" A voice boomed from the doorway, cutting through the fragile moment. It was Marcy, one of Jack's colleagues. The intrusion brought with it a sharp reminder of reality, like a splash of cold water. "We need you in the meeting room. Jack, let us go." As Jack turned towards the door, he hesitated, glancing back at Ava. The vulnerability in his gaze sent shivers down her spine. "Let us talk later, okay?" Ava's heart sank as he walked away, the intense moment slipping through her fingers like sand. She had opened the door to possibility, but would he truly step through it with her? She sank into her chair, hands trembling. The space felt empty, tainted by doubt, yet stirred with a flicker of hope. Could they bridge their worlds together after all? The day dragged on as questions raced through her mind. Hope swelled but mingled dangerously with anxiety. What if she reached for him and found only air? But as she watched the sunset paint the skyline in hues of gold and orange, she made a promise to herself. No matter the outcome, she would dare to chase her colors. Resolved, she whispered to the evening sky, "Whatever comes next, I'm ready to find out." And just when she thought the day might close quietly, an unexpected message dinged on her phone. It was from Jack. "Meet me tonight? I need to talk about us." Her breath caught, excitement mixed with fear. Could this really be it? The evening air was thick with anticipation as Ava stood before the mirror, adjusting her hair one last time. Her heart raced at the thought of meeting Jack again. What would he say? What would she say? She felt vulnerable but also strong. Who knew where tonight could lead? She chose a simple yet elegant dress, one that hugged her curves just right. It was a color she loved, deep emerald, which felt like a piece of her soul dressed in fabric. For too long, she had hidden behind neutral tones, blending into the background. But not tonight. Tonight was for her, as much as it was for Jack. When she arrived at the trendy restaurant, the soft glow of lights and the sound of laughter enveloped her. The hostess led her to a table that had a perfect view of the city street below. It was a far cry from her usual coffee chain, and her pulse quickened with each step she took. Then she spotted Jack, seated in the corner. He was looking handsome as ever, but the subtle furrow in his brow gave a hint of the pressure he carried. As he caught sight of her, the tension seemed to dissolve from his shoulders, replaced by that infectious smile she had come to adore. "Wow, Ava," he said, standing to pull out her chair. "You look incredible." "Thanks, Jack. You clean up well yourself," she replied, a grin breaking through her nervousness. Once seated, the conversation flowed more easily than she had anticipated. They spoke about work, creativity, the chaos of their respective worlds, and the strange friendship that had blossomed between them. "Ava," Jack said, his tone suddenly serious as he leaned in. "I really want you to know what happened yesterday. It's made me think harder about what I want, about what I'm willing to fight for. I've been living in this box, and you." He hesitated, a moment where vulnerability danced on the edge of his words. "You make me want to break free." Her heart swelled. "I want you to feel that way, Jack. But you have to be ready. You can't change everything overnight." "I know, but I want to try." He paused, searching her eyes. "I want us to be more than what we are. I'm terrified, but I don't want to miss this opportunity." Ava's breath caught in her throat. This was exactly what she had hoped for. But the weight of his words echoed louder than the music swirling around them. "Jack, what about your world? The expectations?" she asked softly, longing for clarity. "They're there, but I want to explore what it means to live freely. With you." He seemed steady now, a man resolute. Her heart raced, but doubt clawed at her. This moment held a certain magic. But would it be real? Could they really forge something amidst their different backgrounds? Before she could respond, the waiter arrived, interrupting the charged moment. His presence felt like a tiny lifeline, allowing sparks of uncertainty to settle for a moment. They ordered drinks, but Ava found it hard to focus on the menu. As Jack talked, his passion igniting with each word, she caught herself getting lost in his gaze. The laughter that bubbled between them was almost mesmerizing. It felt like they were in their own world, far removed from the pressures and expectations that loomed outside. But the more she looked, the quieter her question became. What if they opened their hearts only to discover the paths they walked were too different? As dessert arrived, a shared indulgence that looked decadent, she finally found her voice. "If we're going to do this, let us be honest. No hiding," she stated firmly. "Are you truly ready to make space for colors in your life?" Jack's gaze held hers, unwavering. "I want to try. Let us find a way together," he replied, his words laced with sincerity. Ava felt a spark of hope bloom in her chest, but not without hesitation. Would love be enough to challenge their realities? Just as she was about to dig deeper, her phone vibrated on the table, breaking the moment. It was a notification from her art community group, a message about an exhibition opportunity that could necessitate a big leap. Her confidence wavered. Could she balance pursuing her passion alongside a growing connection with Jack? "Everything okay?" Jack asked, concern touching his voice. Ava sighed, torn. "It's just things are happening with my art. I want to be all in with you, but I can't ignore my dreams either." He reached for her hand, the warmth of his grasp grounding her. "Let us not think of it as a choice. We can support each other's paths. Together," he reassured her, his eyes alive with possibility. Tension lingered, but so did a thread of hope. Ava couldn't believe they might really be carving out a space for both of their colors. As the night deepened, she realized a decision had to be made. Would she dive into this new relationship while daring to chase her dreams? And just when she thought they might tackle it together, Jack leaned in closer, whispering something that made her heart skip. "I have an idea. Let us not just plan our lives. Let us create something together." The world outside faded, yet the question hung heavy in the air: could they not only redefine their worlds but also create something beautiful from their convergence? And as Ava's breath quickened, her mind raced with the possibilities. What if this was just the beginning? Ava's mind spun with Jack's words. Create something together? It felt like an invitation to open a door she didn't know existed. But just beyond it lay a vast unknown. Every fiber of her being buzzed with uncertainty and excitement. But what would that mean in reality? Create something? She repeated, a half-smile playing on her lips, trying to catch the essence of his proposition. Jack nodded, his enthusiasm palpable. "Yeah. Combining your art and my business experience. We could gather local artists and throw an exhibition that celebrates different perspectives. I could help with the logistics. We make it happen, Ava." His words washed over her like a warm breeze, igniting a spark of inspiration. Still doubt lingered. That's a huge commitment, Jack. You know that, right? Like, what if it falls apart? Or what if it soars? He was relentless, his eyes gleaming with hope. What if it's everything we both need? Art and fresh connections. Besides, we'll have each other's backs. One Tiwi? Ava felt the flutter of potential swirl in her stomach. The thought of collaborating with Jack was exhilarating, yet terrifying. You're really serious about this? She asked, searching for reassurance. Dead serious. Think of all the stories we could tell. Through colors, through experiences, through us, he added. Leaning back but keeping his gaze locked on hers, she pondered his words for a moment. The unity, the partnership implied in his vision. It felt like a seed being planted, fragile yet bursting with possibility. Every moment they spent talking seemed to weave their lives closer together. Okay, let us say we do this. Where do we start? She whispered, her heart racing as hope danced on the edge of her voice. Jack grinned, energized by her budding enthusiasm. Let us brainstorm ideas. There's a gallery down the street. We can approach them about the space. Plus, I know some folks in the art community who might be interested. I'll handle the business side, you bring the creativity. But what if Ava hesitated? What if it's too much too soon? What if it affects us? Then we scale it back. I'm not asking you to abandon your art for this. I want you to shine, not dim your light. As Ava absorbed his words, she felt warmth spread through her chest. Jack seemed to understand her. He wanted her to hit a high note, not just fill a space beside him. They spent the next hour tossing ideas back and forth, laughter bubbling into the air with each thought they shared. Moments of silence were filled with excitement, both of them sketching dreams and plans on the back of the menu. She hadn't felt such a thrill in ages, where creativity and connection entwined so seamlessly. But emerging beneath the joy was a nagging worry. What if she was diving into something too fast? She loved Jack. There was no question about it, but emotions could shift like clouds. Love could be messy. As the waiter returned to clear their plates, he smiled knowingly at them. You two are quite the pair, he remarked. Jack's hand went back to hers, fingers intertwining, grounding her in that very moment. Let us keep talking about this, Jack said, enthusiasm radiating from him. And now that we've started a project, how about working on something else like our date plan for next weekend? Her heart soared and sank at the same time. The thought of exploring this new dynamic between them made her giddy, but the fear of getting too close too quickly loomed in the back of her mind. Date plan? She echoed, feeling her cheeks flush at the thought. Absolutely. Dinner. Then maybe we can sketch a few more ideas together? Just the two of us. Ava couldn't help but grin, despite the knot in her stomach. Okay, I can get on board with that. But, just so we're clear, this doesn't mean we're rushing things. He held her gaze, unwavering, assurance glimmering in his eyes. We'll take it one brush stroke at a time, I promise. Her heart fluttered at the possibility. It was a delicate balance, adventure and risk. But within that space lay countless opportunities. The waitress brought their check, breaking the spell of the moment. As they walked out together, the city lights twinkled around them, casting a hopeful glow over the path ahead. Ava took a breath, realizing that whatever was to come next, a budding relationship, a creative collaboration, it all felt so deliciously uncertain. And within that uncertainty, a wonder awaited. As they stepped into the cool night air, the question bubbled up inside her. Could she truly open herself up to this journey? Or would the weight of her dreams, alongside a newfound love, prove too heavy to bear? And as they walked toward the gallery, hearts alight with excitement, she wondered what would it take for both of them to share their visions without losing themselves in the process. The gallery loomed before them, vibrant lights spilling onto the pavement from countless windows. Ava felt the energy of creativity and possibility swirl around her. And for a moment, she was overwhelmed by its beauty. All the worries she had about losing herself in this venture trickled away, leaving only the thrill of potential. Look at that. Jack pointed to a large painting in the window, its bold reds and yellows almost begging for a closer look. What do you think? As they stepped closer, Ava felt a surge of excitement. It's stunning. The colors just leap off the canvas. It's alive. She could sense Jack's gaze on her, studying her reaction. It's like they're telling a story, he said, his voice low and contemplative. Just like we will, right? Ava nodded, feeling a rush of warmth spread through her at the thought of their project. Exactly. Each piece can reflect the artist's journey, their struggles, their successes. We could highlight that. Jack grinned, his energy infectious. Totally. We could even set up an area for artists to share their stories during the exhibition, maybe through live talks or panels. Could draw a real crowd. The idea took root in her mind, blossoming into something tangible and thrilling. For the first time, the weight of the upcoming show felt lighter, almost weightless. They were building something together, and each contribution mattered. Let us see if they're open to collaborating, Jack encouraged as they approached the gallery entrance. Ava hesitated, glancing at the gargantuan space before them. What if they say no? The fear crawled back into her mind, lingering like a dark shadow. Then we try somewhere else. But we won't know until we ask. His voice was steady, reassuring. With a deep breath, Ava nodded, allowing herself to be pulled forward by Jack's unwavering confidence. Inside, the gallery was alive, filled with art that screamed individuality. From abstract pieces to portraits that seemed to breathe, it felt like stepping into a world unfettered by expectations. Just as Ava's senses began to meditate on the colors and forms, a woman approached them, exuding a mix of professionalism and warmth. "Welcome. How can I help you?" She smiled brightly, as if she already knew they belonged to this vibrant space. "We're interested in hosting an exhibition here," Jack replied, his tone confident but friendly. Ava felt her heart race, her palms slightly sweaty. The receptionist's eyes widened, curiosity dancing in her gaze. "That sounds exciting. We love supporting local artists. What's your concept?" "A celebration of shared stories, art that reflects experiences, connecting local artists with the community," Ava interjected, her own enthusiasm bubbling over. The woman listened intently, her smile growing. "That's wonderful. We have a few spaces available, and we can arrange a meeting for you to pitch your vision to the gallery owner." Ava felt Jack's hand squeeze hers gently, grounding her in the moment. "Thank you. We love that," Jack replied, and Ava could see the gears turning in his mind as they left the gallery. Adrenaline coursed through Ava. She felt utterly alive. "I can't believe we actually did it. They're interested." Jack laughed, his joy infectious. "This is just the beginning. Imagine what we can create together." But as excitement swirled around them, an undeniable truth crept back into Ava's thoughts. The closer they got to bringing their collective dreams to life, the greater the risk of failure loomed. What if the pressure of the exhibition changed everything between them? "Jack," she said suddenly, her smile faltering. "What if this pushes us too far too fast? You won't just lose the gallery, you could lose me too." He halted mid-stride, pivoting to face her, concern flickering in his eyes. "Ava, we're in this together. I don't want to lose you, but we need to communicate every step, every worry. Can we promise each other that?" In that moment it became clear to Ava. This journey was as much about building a project as it was about building trust. They were learning to navigate their emotions together, one brush stroke at a time, as they ventured toward the cafe for a celebratory drink. The weight of her doubts began to fade just a bit. The future was filled with uncertainties, but so was the love blossoming between them. Maybe it was worth the risk, but just as she felt ready to embrace the adventure, she looked up at Jack, found his eyes searching hers, and the question hung thick in the air: could vulnerability create a bond strong enough to weather the storms ahead? Ava sank into the cafe chair, the warm atmosphere enveloping her like a hug. The smell of fresh coffee and baked goods filled the air, and for a moment, everything felt right. Jack sat across from her, his eyes dancing with excitement as he recapped their meeting at the gallery. "I can already see our exhibition," he said, gesturing animatedly. "Artists mingling, sharing their stories, connecting with the crowd. It'll be magical." Ava smiled, appreciating his passion. "I love that vision. We just need to nail down our pitch and get the right artists on board." Jack nodded, But Ava noticed a flicker of something in his eyes, anticipation mixed with a hint of doubt. It made her think of their conversation from earlier. What about you? Are you sure you feel good about it all? I know I'm a basket case right now. He chuckled, but it didn't reach his eyes. I just want to make this work for both of us. You know how important this is. Yeah, I do, she replied softly. But beneath the surface of their dreams, the weight of uncertainty had not lifted entirely. Just then, a couple nearby erupted into laughter, shaking Ava from her thoughts. She caught a glimpse of Jack's focused expression and wondered what thoughts were tumbling through his mind. It wasn't just the gallery. It was everything they were about to step into together. I can't stop thinking about the artists, she said suddenly, an idea sparking. We should start reaching out to local creators now. Maybe even schedule brief introductions this week? Get everyone excited and involved. Great idea. He beamed. I know a few local groups who might be interested. Let us reach out and get that momentum going. The rhythm of their conversation picked up, flowing easily from one idea to the next, but Ava felt a tightening in her chest. They were moving fast, and with every new plan, her fear resurfaced. Jack, she said, her voice quiet but firm. What if we're not ready? What if we end up buried under expectations? He reached across the table, placing his hand on hers. Ava, we'll figure this out together. We just have to be open about our fears, remember? His touch sent a rush of warmth through her. But with that warmth came a gray cloud of worry. What if we're too different? Your ambition is like a tidal wave, and I'm still figuring out how to stay afloat. Jack's eyes softened, a blend of determination and empathy. Then we learn to swim together. You're never alone in this. She could see the sincerity in his gaze, feel the weight of their commitment hanging between them. They were balancing on the edge of something significant, but the chasm of fear was still there, lurking. We should celebrate this moment, Jack suggested, raising a finger to call over the waitress. After all, it's the start of something special. The waitress approached, and Ava couldn't help but notice how Jack's ease made the exchange feel effortless. He ordered for both of them, infusing their small table with a sense of companionship that was often so hard to find. Felt right yet unsettling. The thought of what lay ahead gnawed at her resolve. As they sipped their drinks, a young woman at a nearby table caught Ava's attention. She was animatedly recounting her triumphs and struggles to her friends, her words rippling with conviction. For a fleeting moment, Ava envied her openness. Do you think we'll have a moment like that? Ava asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Jack's brows furrowed slightly. What do you mean? Sharing our story, being vulnerable in front of others. It's a big deal. He paused, considering her words. It is, but it's also the heart of what we're doing, showing others they're not alone in their journeys. The truth felt heavy. Could they really transcend their internal struggles? We'll shine together, right? Jack teased gently, a playful gleam in his eye. Ava laughed, the tension breaking just a little. But deep down, a question lingered: could they truly be strong enough to face both the exhibition's pressures and their evolving relationship? And as Jack took another sip of coffee, she couldn't help but wonder what would happen when the spotlight turned to them. Would their bond withstand the heat? As they finished their drinks, Ava's heart raced with conflicting emotions. Excitement hung in the air, but so did her fears. She wanted to believe in the bond they were forging, but the shadows of doubt were never far behind. Let us head to the art district tomorrow, Jack suggested, his voice brightening the fog. We can start our artist hunt. It'll be fun, I promise. Yeah, I do like that. Her lips curved into a smile, but it felt more like a mask, concealing her trepidation. Jack paid the bill, and they stepped outside into the crisp evening. The sun was dipping below the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and lavender. For a moment, Ava was captivated by the beauty around them. The world seemed alive with possibility. Do you know Nina? Jack asked, breaking her reverie. Nina? The painter? Yeah. The one who's been making waves. We should invite her to collaborate. His enthusiasm spilled over, a testament to his unyielding ambition. Ava's stomach churned. Do you think she'd be interested? Why not? Could be a perfect fit. He paused, studying her reaction. You seem unsure. Not unsure, just cautious, she replied, feeling her words carry the weight of her worries. What if she thinks we're not ready? Like we're just amateurs? Everyone starts somewhere. That's part of the journey, Jack said. And honestly, vulnerability is strength in this world. She appreciated his perspective. However, seeds of insecurity took root in her mind. What if we flop? What if the artists think we're floundering? Jack stopped walking, turning to face her. Ava, nothing great comes without risk. No one emerges from obscurity without facing rejection. His gaze was earnest, but the thought of failure tightened around her heart like a vice. You're right, but I can't help feeling. What if we're not enough? Jack stepped closer, taking her hands in his. We are enough. Together, he said, gently squeezing. You don't have to carry all this alone. I'm in this with you. As the warmth of his grip settled in her bones, something within her unclenched just a bit. Yet, the anxiety lingered like a distant storm cloud. Okay, together. I'll try. Good. Let us make this magic happen. A mischievous smile crept onto his face. And who knows, maybe Nina will inspire us to think even bigger. Her heart fluttered at the thought, a spark of excitement igniting the surrounding fear. Maybe we should add a food truck to the exhibition, too. Art and food. A double whammy. Yes. Jack's laughter rang like a melody. I can already picture it. Local artists and chefs showcasing their creativity. That'll be a huge draw. Their ideas swirled between them. An exhilarating dance in the twilight. It felt good to share this moment, to build something together. But then vulnerability pressed down on Ava once more. You really think we can pull this off? He hesitated, and for the first time, doubt flickered in Jack's eyes. I believe we can. But it'll be a challenge. The honesty weighed heavy. A challenge we might not be prepared for, she whispered. Ava, he replied, leaning in closer. Let us commit to supporting each other. We can tackle this step by step. Trust in us. Suddenly, her world did feel a little lighter. Trust wasn't easy for her, but his faith ignited a small flame of hope as they walked side by side. A vision of the exhibition took shape in her mind. Yet beneath her budding excitement lingered the question that would not let her rest. What would happen when they finally confronted their fears together? The night stretched on, but in the shadow of uncertainty, new possibilities began to emerge. Each step forward felt like a quiet promise, yet the deeper doubts waited just out of sight. Would they rise to meet their own expectations? Or would this collaboration uncover rifts that could unravel everything? The next morning dawned bright and airy. Ava woke up to soft sunlight streaming through her window, warming her skin like a gentle touch. The excitement from last night lingered in the corners of her mind, but so did her unease. As she pulled on a simple outfit, her thoughts raced ahead to the day's adventures. Jack was picking her up soon, and the idea of meeting Nina loomed in her mind. She grabbed a quick breakfast. The toast barely tasted as butterflies danced in her stomach. The doorbell rang, and Ava took a deep breath before opening the door. Ready to hunt for inspiration? Jack grinned, his energy contagious. Ready as I'll ever be, she replied, her smile genuine despite the anxious tumble in her chest. The ride to the art district felt electric. They chatted about their ideas for the exhibition, the fear mingling with anticipation. Jack's laughter echoed in her ears, and for a moment, she felt as if they could conquer anything together. They parked outside a vibrant gallery, the walls splashed with colors that seemed to pulse with life. That one. Ava pointed at a mural of twisting vines and flowers that seemed to dance across the brick. She turned to Jack. Can you just feel it? This place is full of stories waiting to be told. It is beautiful, he agreed, watching her with a mix of admiration and interest. What kind of story do you think we want to tell? She pondered his question, a spark igniting within her. One about connection, about how art brings us together, crossing lines we often don't know exist. Jack nodded, and a new excitement flickered in the air between them. They stepped into the gallery, greeted by the scent of fresh paint and polished wood. Ava's nerves started to ebb away as the atmosphere enveloped her, passion spilled from every canvas, pulsing with unspoken words. Nina should be around here somewhere, Jack said, scanning the space. She has a colorful installation at the far end. As they wandered, Ava's heart pounded. Each piece they passed sent shivers through her, igniting something raw and urgent within her spirit. They finally reached Nina's exhibit, a striking collection of vibrant paintings, each with a unique tale. There she is, Jack murmured, motioning toward a woman standing amidst the canvases, her hands animated as she spoke with another visitor. Ava's nerves returned full force. What if Nina dismissed them? What if they didn't measure up? But Jack took her hand, his touch reassuring. Come on, let us introduce ourselves. Remember, we're in this together. With a nod, they approached Nina. The artist turned her gaze on them, a warm smile spreading across her face. Welcome. Are you two art enthusiasts? We're looking to collaborate. Jack blurted out before Ava could find her voice. Nina's eyes lit up. Oh, tell me more. As they spoke, Ava found her words flowing more freely. The vulnerability she feared began to transform, replacing insecurity with a shared passion. Jack chimed in with ideas and concepts, while Ava realized how they were feeding off each other's energy. Nina listened intently, her enthusiasm palpable. I love your vision. Collaboration is where the magic happens. Ava's heart swelled. Maybe they could do this. Maybe their dreams could take flight. But then Nina's next words struck a chord of doubt. It'll be a challenge. You both will have to dig deep and remain true to your vision. Ava exchanged a glance with Jack, the weight of Nina's statement sinking in. As they made plans to meet later that week, Ava couldn't shake the feeling that something essential was about to change between them both in their partnership and within themselves. Driving home, the exhilaration was palpable, tinged with a hint of fear. Would they be strong enough to face the challenges ahead? Just then, Jack glanced at her, his expression serious. What if we just took a leap and poured our whole selves into this? No holding back. Her breath caught, and Ava realized that was exactly what she wanted, yet dreaded. The thought hung in the air as they drove into the sunset, surrounded by hues of yellow and orange, bathed in the warmth of potential. What if taking that leap changed everything? Ava lay awake that night, staring at the ceiling, the distant city lights flickering through her window. Jack's words echoed inside her. No holding back. It stirred something she hadn't expected, a mix of reckless enthusiasm and creeping fear. What did that even mean? Could she really embrace her creativity without the safety net of her old insecurities? The next morning arrived, her mind wrestling with the thought of taking risks. It was a workday. Ava sat at her desk, the familiar hum of the office wrapping around her like an old blanket. She answered calls, typed emails, and organized schedules, all while her thoughts danced around the upcoming meeting with Nina. Each mundane task felt like a contrasting backdrop to the vibrant world of art and creativity that just brushed against her life. Hey, Ava? Her coworker Michelle peeked over the cubicle wall, her brown hair pulled back in a messy bun. You seem a little off today. Everything okay? Ava forced a smile, but it only carried a hint of the turmoil brewing inside. Just thinking about a project. You know how it gets. Busy with that art thing? Michelle asked, tilting her head. You should share more about it. Sounds exciting. Yeah, it is. Ava hesitated, then added, Jack and I are partnering with Nina, and it feels like a big deal. Michelle's eyes brightened. Wow, that's amazing. Just remember, it's okay to be a little scared. It means you care. Ava considered this, realizing how often she hid behind her fears. Maybe shedding some of that anxiety was part of her transformation. But could she truly step into the spotlight? Later in the afternoon, just as she was winding down, her phone buzzed on her desk. A notification popped up, and she felt a rush of adrenaline when she saw it was a message from Jack. Hey, ready for our brainstorming session tomorrow? Let us channel those butterflies into our ideas. Smiley face. A wave of warmth rushed through her, a reminder of their connection, how they had ignited each other's creativity. She quickly typed back, enthusiasm fluttering in her fingers. Absolutely. Let us crush it. The day turned into night, and Ava sat at her small kitchen table, a notepad open before her. She picked up a pencil and began to sketch out ideas, letting the ink flow freely across the page. Shapes, colors, and themes began to collide. She drew connections between her thoughts, the essence of the exhibition leaping into life before her eyes. But as the clock ticked, a nagging doubt crept in. What if Jack was right? What if she stayed too safe? Just then, a sharp knock on her door startled her. Who could it be at this hour? When she opened the door, her heart skipped a beat. It was Jack, standing there with an excited grin and a colorful bouquet in hand. I thought I'd drop by and see if you'd help me brainstorm in person. Ava blinked in surprise. Oh, I didn't expect you. Well, what's a little inspiration without some real company? He stepped inside, the smell of fresh flowers filling the air. Now, let us see what you've got. As they spread their ideas across the table, Ava felt the audience of two turn into a storm of creative energy. The air thickened with potential, laughter bubbled between discussions, and inspiration streamed freely like the joyous dance of paint on a new canvas. But just as they were lost in brainstorming, Jack hesitated, his brows furrowing. Ava, I have a thought. What if we made a radical choice? Something that could really break boundaries? Her heart raced, curiosity peaking. Like what? Jack leaned in closer, a glint in his eye, and Ava could sense this was the moment where everything could change. Let us do an interactive installation and we could invite the public to share their stories as part of it. Ava's breath caught in her throat. This was bold. Could either open a world of possibilities or completely flop. What if it's too much? She whispered, the fear creeping back. Jack looked her in the eye, determination stirring. What if it's everything? As silence enveloped them, the possibilities churned. Ava understood now that this leap could lead them to uncharted waters, and she felt a strange exhilaration mixed with fear wash over her. Could she take this risk? The question hung in the air as she pondered, the colors of their next move swirling in her imagination. And Ava knew one thing was certain. Everything was about to change, but would she dare to embrace it? Ava stared at the canvas of her dreams, uncertain yet inspired. It was time to step through the threshold. Jack's words echoed within her, filling her heart with hope while the flutter of fear danced in her stomach. What if they could create something truly beautiful together? As they dove headlong into brainstorming, every idea morphed into a vivid thread in their collaborative tapestry. They tossed suggestions back and forth, brainstorming ways to incorporate public stories into their exhibition, and the thrill coursed through Ava like electricity. This was more than art, it was connection. In that moment, she realized that stepping into vulnerability didn't just mean putting herself on display. It meant inviting others to join them on a shared journey. Jack's energy fueled her own, as they imagined colorful installations filled with engaging stories and reflections. We need to capture the essence of the people in our community, he proposed, his eyes sparkling. We should let them paint their experiences in real time. Absolutely. We could set up a space where people could create live art to express their journey throughout the event. Ava's voice rang with excitement. The thought of it, the laughter, the colors coming alive in front of them. She could envision it all. But more than the plans, Ava felt another transformation blooming within her. Jack, she said suddenly, her voice trembling but resolute. I can't stress enough how pivotal this moment is for us. It's not just about the exhibition, it's about us. He paused, vulnerability reflecting in his gaze. I feel it too. We're creating something that not only has the potential to inspire others, but can redefine us as well. His voice dropped to a whisper, I want to take risks, but I don't want to lose you in the process. Ava nodded fervently. I want to let that happen. I feel scared, but I want to be brave. Not just for the exhibition, but for us. They locked eyes, and in that heartbeat, surrounded by scattered sketches and ideas, it became clear creativity was binding them closer together, but it was their willingness to confront their fears head-on that would shape their destiny. Days blurred into nights as they organized and reached out to local artists. They met with different creative individuals, weaving a network of stories that hung in the air like vibrant dreams. In each moment, Their bond deepened, laughter filled spaces that once held uncertainty, and with each shared vision, Ava felt herself shedding the burdens that had weighed her down for too long. The day of the exhibition arrived, and as Ava stood in front of the gallery doors, she held her breath, excitement surging through her veins. The vibrant colors of the murals outside danced boldly under the bright sun, amplifying the energy that thrummed within her. Jack stood beside her, dressed impeccably. But it wasn't his business attire that caught her breath, it was the way he looked at her, full of admiration and pride. "Ready to unleash our creation?" he asked, squeezing her shoulder gently. With a determined smile, Ava nodded, her heart soaring. They stepped inside, their minds racing as the adrenaline surged. The gallery was buzzing with people, artists and attendees mingling, stories preparing to unfold in the AI as the exhibition commenced. Their installation drew a crowd, each piece reflecting shared stories and echoes of vulnerability. People laughed, cried, and created before their eyes, real connections blossoming where art met humanity. Ava felt the energy of the moment. This was alive. In the midst of it all, Ava watched as Jack engaged with the crowd, his charisma radiating, making each person feel seen. She felt an overwhelming warmth wash over her, the kind that spoke of love, connection, and creation. How far had they come? How beautiful was this moment? As the night deepened, the final touches of the exhibition sparked feelings of triumph within her. She found Jack standing in a quiet corner, ready to bask in the magic they had ignited together. "Can you believe this?" he exclaimed, his eyes shining. "Look at what we made." Ava clutched his hand, her heart swelling with joy. "We did this together." He leaned down, his voice softening, "And I think it's just the beginning." In that moment, Ava realized they both transformed into a palette of hope, blending aspirations, fears, and dreams. They weren't just individuals anymore. They had become a force that breathed life into creation. And as the last visitors trickled out, leaving echoes of laughter behind, Ava felt ready to embrace whatever was next. With light in their eyes and courage in their hearts, they faced one another. "Let us keep creating," she proposed, her voice steady with resolve. Together, Jack agreed, the promise hanging between them like a vibrant stroke across a canvas. In the warmth of that realization, Ava understood something profound. True transformation comes not only from dreams realized but from the shared journey of love, trust, and vulnerability. Together, they would continue to paint their dreams, one brushstroke at a time. And as they walked into the night, hands intertwined, a radiant smile on both their faces, Ava cherished the thought that this was just the beginning, a beautiful arrangement endless in possibilities. Now, for you, dear friends, this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss your next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Your engagement makes a big difference. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this life-changing ending. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share your support. Only true fans understand the importance of these actions.